You know, I usually stay out of these conversations, but with Caitlin Clark, I can't stay silent anymore.
Dear viewers, greetings and welcome back, and I hope all is fine with you all. Today, I'm here with another brand. I think you'll love this new WNBA upgrade. SO, be sure to follow me through to the END. A TO inform me that you are A. If you are a true admirer of Sophie Cunningham, please write a 100% CC in the comment section. Without spending any more time, let's go straight into today's tale. What would happen if one of the all-time great basketball players saw the WNBA's most talented young athlete singled out through questionable methods? Michael Jordan's provocative comments. The basketball game has been totally turned upside down by Dijonai Carrington's antics towards Sophie Cunningham. Globe, so you'll discover. But first, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a professional athlete being picked out the way Sophie Cunningham has been all her life? Michael Jordan's viewpoint on. Because of what he witnessed during the Connecticut Sun game, the WNBA has entirely transformed. This is Michael's portion. Jordan's perspective, which devastates Dijonai Carrington. Sophie Cunningham is precisely where. Right now, Michael Jordan is. Michael Jordan was the greatest player in a league full of incredible athletes during the 1980s. And they tried to physically threaten him because they couldn't compete with his superb basketball skills. IQ. However, Michael Jordan brought attention to this crucial point. Currently, Dijonai Carrington's standing becomes incredibly fascinating. Michael Jordan understands the difference between what he has observed with Sophie Cunningham and what he saw in championship-level basketball and the mob situation. He remarked, "It was the most cowardly act I've seen on a basketball court in decades." You heard properly, yes. If you like the content, please think about liking this video and subscribing to the channel. You might be surprised to hear that. Nearly 90% of viewers do not currently have a subscription. Even though it's free and just takes a second, it means the world to us. Have you signed up yet? Wonderful. Thank you so much for your assistance. Now, let's go back to the video.
As far as I understand, it's mostly women without penises, but I leave that to you to figure it. Well, it's actually a little unclear because this Brittany Griner, a lot of people think she's a dude. But in any event, Brittany Griner is a black basketball player who some people think is a man.
The video shows a glimpse of what life was like for WNBA star Brittany Griner inside Russian prison. She spent her days carrying fabric because she was too tall to sit at the sewing tables where other prisoners worked. Her bed was too small for her 6'9" frame. Griner was arrested back in February for traveling with hashish oil, a substance banned in Russia. She was sentenced to 9 years in prison in August. Her release part of a prisoner swap for Victor Bout, a convicted Russian arms.
In response to the video showing Dijonai Carrington attacking Sophie Cunningham, Michael Jordan acted quickly and harsh. This man was more familiar with the definition because he has dealt with prominent enforcers like Dennis Rodman and Bill Laimbeer. More fiercely competitive than almost anyone in basketball history, but even he could see that Dijonai Carrington's behavior violated the rules of sportsmanship and competitive integrity. But listen to what Michael Jordan has to say about that shove's timing. Dijonai Carrington is currently quite agitated. Through his analysis, the basketball player raised a subject that many fans had been thinking about, but nobody with his degree of fame has the guts to act in this way. Taking cheap is not the same as playing defense at the championship level. Shots at a player who isn't looking and is completely exposed. Michael Jordan claims that his era was regarded as the most physically taxing in NBA history. You act like a warrior when you dispute with someone, instead of acting like a predator and waiting for their back to turn. And Dijonai is exactly what. Michael Jordan was particularly incensed by Carrington's horrible actions, but Michael Jordan's criticism has entirely destroyed Dijonai Carrington's current reputation. The seasoned Boston Celtics player was deeply offended by Dijonai Carrington's pathetic reaction after the event, rather of expressing regret or acknowledging. Dijonai Carrington pretended that the media and fans were treating her harshly because she thought she could have gone too far. Condemning her, she said, "Damned if I do, damned if I don't." But Michael Jordan grew even more furious after hearing such comments. Michael Jordan, a champion and legend in the game, claims that great competitors always take full responsibility for their actions, especially when such actions could put another player at grave jeopardy. He asserted that observing Dijonai Carrington portray the victim and He was reminded of players who knew deep down they couldn't compete at the greatest level by evading criticism. As a result, they found more questionable ways to affect the game. Put otherwise, Michael Jordan was successful. Describing Dijonai Carrington as a weak player who employs unethical tactics due to her lack of the real basketball skills to match greater potential. This is where Michael Jordan's research truly shines and draws attention to a fascinating aspect of Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham has the same remarkable qualities that made Michael Jordan one of the all-time great basketball players: her exceptional basketball intelligence, her unexplainable talent for making big shots, and most all, her divine capacity to improve everyone around her. But as a person who respects basketball ethics, he observes something that really concerns him. Instead than focusing only on this incredibly talented young player must constantly be on the lookout for opportunities to fulfill her boundless basketball potential. Keep an eye out for shady tactics and cheap shots. Michael Jordan claims that Dijonai Carrington's approach embodies what's wrong with some gamers choosing to play Sophie Cunningham instead of confronting themselves to either outwork her on the court or equal her exceptional talent level through dedication. And getting ready.it is concerning that she is physically assaulted when she is at her weakest. According to Michael Jordan, this type of behavior is the worst basketball competition he has ever seen. But as a result, the basketball world is talking about Michael Jordan's contentious comments. Michael Jordan compared Sophie Cunningham's predicament to his own experiences with physical mistreatment at job, but he didn't think twice about pointing out something that fits and elevates Sophie Cunningham. Puts her situation in context. He pointed out that Caitlin Clark, who is only 22, is dealing with serious, greater adversity than most athletes experience during their lives. She's doing this while bearing the responsibility of being women's basketball's unchallenged face. But Michael Jordan's remarks about, unbelievably, Dijonai Carrington's NBA future is currently trending on social media. If the WNBA allows players like Dijonai Carrington to seek superstars, Michael Jordan says, facing repercussions, it suggests that mediocre players might employ dishonest tactics. Instead of improving their actual basketball skills, they want to stay relevant. He claims that this creates a dangerous precedent that might deter athletes who are raising the bar for the league. Michael Jordan even went so far as to claim that young athletes who watch at home are tricked by the league's failure to adequately penalize these actions. He believes that watching the WNBA should teach kids about talent, commitment, and sportsmanship as opposed to how to pick weaker opponents. But Michael Jordan's prediction about, despite these challenges, Sophie Cunningham's future was maybe the most crucial factor of what he said. He asserted that Sophie Cunningham was molded by adversity, and with each cheap shot, foul play, and attempts to frighten her only made her more determined to use expertise to prove her dominance. By themselves, Michael Jordan compared Sophie Cunningham's situation to his own rookie campaign, in which opponents consistently his physical endurance to the test. Sophie Cunningham is handling this behavior, he noted, as well as the unprecedented media attention and demands that come with being the most marketable athlete in WNBA history. Michael Jordan's support for Sophie Cunningham is crucial as a result. He is defending more than merely a talented athlete. He is defending the intrinsic purity of basketball. He thinks Sophie Cunningham, Elizabeth Sophie, exemplifies every trait that makes basketball unique, including skill, vision, class, and competitiveness. He also observes everything in sportsmen that can be detrimental to the sport. Similar to Brittany Griner, the basketball veteran made it clear that the WNBA is at a critical juncture. They have two choices. Either they keep allowing less experienced players to employ dishonest tactics to remain relevant, or they safeguard and advance their top players, allowing celebrities like Sophie Cunningham to reach their greatest potential and enhance the league overall. The message from Michael Jordan was unambiguous. The league's future will depend on the choice selected, but this is the question that everyone is discussing. Will the WNBA follow Michael Jordan's advice to protect Sophie Cunningham, or will they continue to allow athletes like Dijonai Carrington, who employed questionable methods to harm the league's standing? Let's continue the conversation in the space provided for comments below. What are your thoughts on Michael Jordan's critical remarks? The actions of Joni Carrington? Do you think his complaints are entirely valid, or do you think he's being overly critical? More significantly, do you think the WNBA will finally take action to safeguard its brightest star? In the comment section, please share your ideas below that I read each and every one of them. This breaks through if you choose to like it. Make sure to click the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that the clutter is removed and you can see what's actually going on in basketball. Sophie Cunningham's situation in the WNBA might eventually change as a result of Michael Jordan's controversial remarks. The basketball community is keeping an eye on this problem. As the story goes on, one thing becomes more difficult to ignore. Discussions are no longer limited to one game, one hard foul, or one controversial occurrence. It has to do with women's basketball future, the principles the league aspires to uphold, and how its best players are treated in the spotlight. Sophie Cunningham entered the WNBA with expectations that few athletes have ever had to deal with. Every game she plays is watched by millions of people. Every action she does is scrutinized from every angle. Every success is celebrated, and every setback garners media attention, being a well-known figure. That's what basketball means today. Veterans from across the league are still competing in the interim, at the highest level, bringing years of resilience, pride, and expertise to each match, ensuring that fierce competition. The WNBA's challenge is to never stray into unnecessary or dangerous play. Intensity is what fans want. Rivalries are what they want. They want respect, fairness, and stability in addition to real basketball. The remarks made by Michael Jordan have prompted intense discussion since he is a person who knows what it's like to perform under pressure. Michael Jordan faced some of the most formidable opponents and intense rivalries during his illustrious career, defenders that basketball has ever witnessed. However, his message went beyond just being tough. It was about upholding the integrity of the game and ensuring that basketball skill, not controversy, continues to be the major focus, whether you share Michael Jordan's perspective or think the problem has been overstated. There is no doubting that his remarks have sparked debate among fans, commentators, past athletes, and media figures. To discuss what should happen when the top players in the league take center stage in physical action. Do authorities need to be more stringent? Should the league impose more severe sanctions? Or is this just a typical component of playing basketball professionally? Everybody seems to respond in a different way. The answer from Sophie Cunningham is unquestionable, rather of allowing criticism, physical defense, or controversy to define her career. She has persisted in concentrating on basketball. She continues to compete, show up, and demonstrate why so many people think she is the sport's future. One of the main reasons her fans still love her is her tenacity. Her unprecedented attention is being paid to the WNBA. Areas are packed. Television ratings are growing. Conversations on social media are expanding daily, and new fans are learning about women's basketball for the first time. These kinds of circumstances impact the league's perspective in addition to a particular player or team. All throughout the world, every game will become increasingly important as the season progresses. Every game played by Sophie Cunningham will be attentively observed. Every contentious play will be examined. Each official decision will be